Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I'm going to go over Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market, but first somebody asked about this to cred. I think he's asked a couple times before about this asset real quick. Posted on Twitter for you. Um, this guy, what was his name? Surgeon. Okay, I just go over it real quick with you guys. Look, this made a flat up here, if you can believe it. Okay, this is and I'll show you what it did. This is a three-wave move right here, and it came back down three waves. So it's got three and up in a three, and it's coming down in a five. It's actually doing this wave right here, and then coming over here into this flat that's up there is actually quite bullish, especially if it doesn't break this A wave. And what I would guess is once Decred completes this flat that it's been in for however long this has been, 2000 days. 2000 days. That's why I posted on Twitter. Flats can be long and arduous, very, very painful. If you get trapped into a flat of this nature, you had an option, you had an opportunity to get out right there. But, you know, once you get stuck in one of these, man, I'll tell you what, I would not touch this until it's done with its flat and I actually see a nice impulse wave and pull it off. And that could be months and maybe even years down the road. Just my take on it. But it's a massive flat. If it busts right here, stays above there, it will be a running flat, very, very bullish. If it breaks down, it'll be expanded type flat. I think it's going to stay above that A wave. And what you could suspect it's going to do, it's going to have a wave of this nature over here. Okay. You could say 1, 2. Don't know. I don't know. But, you know, it's going to have a wave of this nature over here. So you see this wave to this wave, this peak right here, it will have one over here. Okay. So in the chart, here's the a chart of when it's coming down in a fifth wave, five-wave move. So you have a 1, 2, and it's coming down here for a 3, which is your lowest peak. This is on the weekly chart, by the way, and it looks like you have a connector wave, and it's such a huge, massive flat that it's going to take its time. So now you're in a fifth wave. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5, and you're looking at one, probably 1, 2. It's probably coming down, maybe a 3, one more bounce down in a 4, and it could take it months to get down there. Just gravitate down there. A long time. All you could do is watch it. Let me see. How long has it been in this flat? July. See the peak of this flat is July of 22, and this portion right here is April of 23. It's been 1 year. It could have another bounce and then come back down. You're looking at months. You're looking at months for this. So I wouldn't mess with it until you see a reaction, and it might be. You might get lucky for one in 2024. 2024. You know, that's what I'd say about that. So Bitcoin, let's go over to Bitcoin, guys. I have Bitcoin made a nice three-wave move right here, guys. Okay. So this is good for Bitcoin because I posted this on Twitter, and let me put it on a line chart here for you guys. Okay. This is actually good for Bitcoin. This is telling us that Bitcoin is correcting this leg more than likely. The higher probability that Bitcoin is correcting this leg over here. Could it go down some more? Yes, it very well could. But the deal is with a move of this nature, you can see it's in the channel. If I put it on the Wix, you can see it touch the channel. And more than likely, this is a WXY. WXYs and one-to-one ABCs like to go right into channels. So let me go out to a daily chart. I'll show you guys something. All right. So here it is in the channel, right? I'll put it back on the candle bodies for you with the touch, and it came down a wick to the touch, which is a really good shot that was completion of this corrective pattern that it made. And what is it going to do? Bounce over here. So I posted on Twitter, let you guys know there should be a pretty significant bounce of some sorts over here, which it has bounced from 25.8 up to 26.8. And is it going to go to the top of the channel to come back down again? It very well could. Just have to see how this corrective pattern is going to play out. Okay, but if you take a look at Bitcoin, when it's bearish, okay, I'll just show you an example. It will come down in a pretty aggressive five-wave move. So here's Bitcoin at the top of April 2021, right? So you can see, boom, right? It came up and it's getting ready to correct that leg in that five-wave move, okay? And over here, boom, boom, you see, boom. It just these moves is, if it was more than likely, in my opinion, if this was the top, we would have seen something more like this, probably more along the lines of a very clear impulse move down like that, guys. So in my opinion, it's correcting this leg. It could be in there for a little while longer. And the reason I say the potential for a little bit more time in this pattern, corrective pattern, is because of the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, okay? Still waiting for this to correct. I think I have a little bit of an idea what's going on with the NASDAQ with this pattern that it made right here, okay, in the middle, which in my opinion, by the way, is a flat pattern. And this is a three-wave move. It's not impulsive. I'll say this about the NASDAQ. This could be a serious big fake out to the bull side, but want to see NASDAQ correct this leg right here too, guys, just like Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin's a little bit early. Here's its leg, and it's correcting this leg over here. And you will see the NASDAQ do the same thing too, guys. But they're not going to be exactly right. So Bitcoin could finish its correction first because it started it first, you know, as an example, if you will. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. And then I want to go a couple of the other assets with you guys too, is GBTC. And I'll post this on Twitter because some guys had some questions about this hidden bullish divergence. So I'll go over real quick. I post on Twitter, let you guys know. Here it is on the daily chart. And I'll show you guys how this these two legs over here created hidden bullish divergence on the GBTC chart. So you see this peak to this peak. So if you take your trend line and you go kind of like that, and then if you take here on the daily, you can clearly see that peak, this bottom, this area that it's in right here, guys, right there, the RSI is right here, and then the price is way down here, but the RSI is up. So you have a divergence between these two, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that this correction is over, but it means that this hidden bullish divergence is telling you the trend is continuing up, okay? And then if you go to a 4-hour chart, which I showed too, you can see down here, this area on the RSI on the 4-hour is just like so. It's coming down, and you can see this peak, and then you can see it take, for this whole wave on the 4-hour, it's taking that out over there, okay? Great hidden bullish divergence telling you that's a trend continuation pattern. And with the GBTC chart, okay, it's making another nice inverse head and shoulders pattern that I put on here the other day. Potentially, by the way, it filled the gap too on the daily chart. I think there's a gap on the daily chart on GBTC. Now, this is important. Why am I going over GBTC? I know most of you don't care. Who cares about this thing, man? This is Bitcoin. All they have in their portfolio is Bitcoin. That's it. So if GBTC goes up, Bitcoin's going up. Same thing with MicroStrategy. If those two are going up, Bitcoin is going up, even though it might look like it's going down. So this is what I was talking about. Originally with GBTC, you had a inverse head and shoulders pattern here, 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 and you put your neckline right there, and then you boom. And it's technically really hasn't hit it yet. It depends on how you check it on logarithmic or linear. But now you can see here's another pattern like so. Okay, it might come down a little bit, and it's making another inverse head and shoulders, which now your neckline would be kind of like in this area. And then you take it, you want to take it off log probably on this one, and then the target will be up to this box. And if GBTC is going up to here, then here, Bitcoin is probably going to be going up to its spot and its spot, if that makes sense. So let me move this out of the way. And there's the gap I was telling you guys. It came right down to fill the gap. Okay, right down to my target box. And GBTC filled that gap right there, and it came right down. So it filled that, and now it has a gap right here, and it filled that one. And I'm expecting GBTC to fill this gap, which is about 23.52. And if you can believe it, there's another little gap right up there at $50. And I do have ultimate targets for GBTC to be 38 to that area to fill those gaps. Going back up, guys, if you can believe it. And the thing is with GBTC, when Bitcoin was 69, 67 or 69,000 was right here, what GBTC was trading at $53. So that could give you an idea. You know, it's not going to be exactly the same thing again, but if you know what I mean, if it's up here, even if it's up here or a potentially up here, the price of Bitcoin is probably going to be somewhere near what it was before. Not exactly 67, but maybe 60 or 61 or maybe even a little higher. Who knows? But it'll be up there. So I'm kind of expecting that. And I'm still waiting for this pattern to play out, because on the daily chart, if you see here in the RSI, okay, so you got your daily chart and this is all the way down here, okay? It's wave pattern up there with divergence on that spot, okay? So let's break this down, see what we have going on here. We have a massive third wave move, right? But this area is lower, but you have two waves. You even though there's divergence between here to here, it's not a 5-wave move. It's 1-2. It's only one 5-wave and another 5-wave. Now you could go with the ABC and you could say it's going to dump, and the bears are probably going to tell you that. I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. You have a wave pattern, and then there's this 5th wave, and you have divergence right there, took it out, and now you have another wave pattern for your 3rd wave and divergence right there, and it's taking it out. So you have a good shot that this is in a 1-2, 1-2. So you can see in the RSI how this works out, just like this. Here's your 1, 2, here's your 1, and it's making another 2 to do this over here again. So at some point, GBTC, let me remove that. At this point over here will be another wave, okay? Is it going to go up and break these waves this round? Don't know. But at some point, then it come back down like this. Let's say it can come lower. And then it's going to come back up like this. And whenever it peaks above that one, that will be the 3rd wave. Okay? That's kind of what I'm expecting. And that's how GBTC can get up here. Okay? Even though you're going to have folks that they don't concentrate on GBTC. They're just looking at the Bitcoin chart and what it's doing. A lot of them, right? But this will give you clues. If you have 3, okay, we have an ETF, basically an ETF proxy micro strategy, right? Of Bitcoin, okay? You have, I think Merrill Lynch or Fidelity, whoever, Bank of America, all these companies, big companies and banks buying up thousands and hundreds of thousands of shares of MicroStrategy in the first quarter of 2023, giving you a tell that, hey, they're probably placing huge bets on Bitcoin because they're a publicly traded company, they're a bank, they're not going to go buy Bitcoin. They're like, hey, we have MicroStrategy, go right there, right? Makes sense. And they loaded up their bags, huge bags, to have the Bitcoin play. That's why I'm calling it an ETF proxy. It's like an ETF proxy, basically a proxy of Bitcoin. And they're going to look at that. It's going to be doing the same thing. And it could be doing that over here, guys. So of all these assets, MicroStrategy, GBTC are going to be going up aggressively into these waves, then your odds are Bitcoin is going to be too. Even though it might be confusing, like, what is it doing? What is it doing? Go over, check these. So back down into this area, once it finishes this correction, then it could aggressively be moving over here. Same thing with MicroStrategy. I was making videos about this. Here's MicroStrategy, guys. And it's looking really, really nice. Really, really nice. So you up in a wave and coming back in 3. Is it going to be finished up in here? That's a good question. That's a good question. Just have to wait to see how this one is going to play out. But so far, so good with MicroStrategy. You know, I'm not really too keen on what's going on in here. Is that 1-2? You know, it could be 1-2, 1-2, and it's going to whiz all the way back down here. That could be a potential up there. Or is that a diagonal 1-2? And maybe it's 3, 4, 5. Okay. But at the end of the day, with MicroStrategy, okay, you have a 3-way move right there, a 3-way move, and it could be a 5, like right here, and maybe go even down to there. Target there, and it could get down to there. And then with MicroStrategy, you have your wave 1, as I said before in my videos, and you have a potential 2. Same thing with MicroStrategy over here, right? Up into a wave, 2. Okay? And then the issue with the uncertainty in the markets, right? So you might have another 1, 2. So I'm going to put that out there just because then, you know, if it does this again, if you're like, hey, Greg, what's it doing now? You know, because then we're 2 more months and it's doing this and then it's blast off over there. So you can see with GBTC, you know, you have this potential pattern right here. Okay. So you have it in your RSI 1, 2, 1, 2. So like that 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So that leaves it with Bitcoin. Now we're over here at Bitcoin. Okay, guys. And we're looking at the same thing in the pattern. Okay. Same thing in the pattern down here in the RSI, right? You have divergence from there to there. So that peak is higher, that peak right there. You got a 5-wave move and your divergence, boom, took it out, right? So now you're over here in another leg. There's your 3rd wave peak potentially. There's your 5th wave move with your divergence. Now what's it doing? Taking it out. Boom. So you have like here. This is your 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So then at some point, if Bitcoin's going to be going back up into a 3rd wave, it'll be the same thing. Is it going to be this one? And is it going to come back down? Or is it going to be the next one and then it'll come up? And it'll probably, with that wave, get even or just tick right above it. It'll probably just go right above it. That'll be your 3rd wave. That's what I'm looking for, guys, on these assets. Okay. So same thing up here, guys, with Bitcoin. All right. What I'm looking for right here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. And if that's a 1, 2, 1, 2, this is going to be, it might do another one here. It might go up and back down like that, guys. It could do that again too. But this wave or this section can be aggressive, super, super aggressive, like smoke show. That could be the smoke show. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to be right here. It could be more than this, guys. It could be more than that because this is the wave 1. The wave 3 could be even more aggressive. Now it's not going to be percentage wise, it's not going to be as much probably. Because if you entered in down here and you got in there, that's 56%. And it's not going to be percentage wise, but the wave is going to be, it'll be aggressive, smoke show wave. So it's not going to be 50. Well, I take that back. Yeah, it could easily be more aggressive. So I take that back. Yeah, it easily can be more aggressive than that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys, of this going up in there. Now, the canary in the coal mine is this right here, okay? This isn't an obvious topping pattern. And, there's some bearish divergence. The weekly, daily is up quite high. Let's go to a weekly on the NASDAQ. This is way up here. It needs to reset all this, guys, okay? In this pattern, it's in a topping pattern. So you want to see what the NASDAQ, where is it going to correct to? Let me go back to a daily chart. Okay. The odds are, in my opinion, looking at other assets and what's going on, that the NASDAQ is going to be correcting this leg. Okay. Which really is nothing, guys. It's nothing. As long as it's not correcting this whole leg. Okay. If it's correcting that leg, you got your spots right there. And then maybe even down a little bit more right here, guys. Okay. To come back down and correct. So that's the only one that's the canary in the coal mine right now is with the NASDAQ, guys. Otherwise, GBTC, MicroStrategy, and Bitcoin are so far so good. And if you're looking at Bitcoin, let me go back to Bitcoin, and you get a shot, that daily candle is actually looking really good with that long wick on it, guys. That's a nice long bullish wick. But if you have another shot where it's going to come up and it's going to get back down in these areas, the 25 to 25 flat, and maybe even another wick down in those areas, that's going to be a serious buy, guys, in my opinion. We want to see on Sunday too. On Sunday, it's going to reset. Bitcoin on the weekly chart is going to be resetting this stochastics down here in the weekly, guys. Okay. So that's going to be a big deal too, because you can see it was down here and you see what it did. This wave run, right? All the way back up to this area. And if this is all the way back down here on Sunday, okay, that's going to be a really, really good clue that, hey, now it's getting ready to do another one of these over here potentially, okay? If you made it all the way to the end, do me a huge favor, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. Peace.